Hey, everybody. Listen, welcome in the building. Happy Sunday. Okay, I took yesterday off. I was just, relaxed and just doing my own thing, but I took yesterday off. But you know what? Happy Sunday, y'all. Hope y'all had an amazing weekend and a good time. But it's trending topics. We got stuff to talk about. I see you, Tay Tay. I see you, 48. Thank y'all for hanging out with me and being here. If you in the building, with the D1 this Sunday, just do me a favor. Hit the like button. If you're not a subscriber, subscribe. Chat with the Diva. Let's have a conversation. Let's talk. Okay. We're gonna keep it real simple tonight. I ain't gonna hold y'all up all night. We're gonna have a simple, easy, smooth conversation. That's it. And my title is The World is Broken. The world is broken. I knew this Diddy verdict. It didn't matter which way this verdict went. If the verdict went 100% guilty, the people was gonna lose their mind. Some was guilty, some not, and people are still losing their mind. And a lot of ex-workers, they're coming out saying this man is dangerous. Please don't let him back on the streets. Gene Deal said he needs to unalive himself. And I'm like, good gosh almighty. I've grown up in the time, and I'm talking about for real, not in the movies. I grew up in New York, the Bronx. And I remember them talking about gang members, gangsters, all of that stuff. And as much as those gangsters were accused of, nobody ever said, I think they should unalive themselves in the jail. And they was accused of way more than anything Diddy was ever accused of. It's interesting, although he was never charged with anything, if the people actually come out and spoke about the things that went down in that Playboy mansion, I wonder if y'all will fall out. And Hugh Hefner didn't achieve all that went down in that Playboy mansion himself. He had co-conspirators. It's just interesting how we move and how we do things and how we say things and what we believe and who we gonna call a monster and who we think should just drop dead. And how we feel we have the authority to say who should, who shouldn't, and what should and should not happen. It's just crazy to me. But we're going to talk about the backlash. But you know what? His fellow inmates, they felt his pain. And when he got back after the verdict came out, they was congratulating him up in the jail. So says his lawyer. I don't know. I'm not in the Metropolitan Detention Center out there in Brooklyn. But his lawyer says that when he got back to his cell, they was congratulating him. His people, his fellow cellmates, the inmates. Because they told him, don't nobody be the Fed charge. But they said, you did it. And they was congratulating him. So we're going to talk about it. Then listen, I'm coming to my own little conclusion. This is a straight up diva thought. That the entertainment industry, period, is dark. Very dark. Here we come, a Tyler Perry special coming out of his, camp. One of the actors is claiming that, one of Tyler Perry's top people groomed him. That's the word that is being used now. Groomed him, essayed him, and R'd him. And he said it was a massive cover-up from the police department to lawyers and everybody in between. He said he was forced into signing an NDA under coercion. He said he'd been trying to get this out. He said none of the media kind of picked it up, but when a fellow actor from the Oval, because he said he had a role in the Oval too, came out and said what was done to him, he claimed, all the mainstream media picked it up. But what he got to understand is that the mainstream media picked it up for about maybe 5 hours. Hey, you know what? I'll step out on the wild side. They picked it up for maybe about 24 hours. And after that, I ain't hear a thing about that lawsuit against Tyler Perry. So I guess Diddy had money, but he ain't got Tyler Perry money. because we heard about it, and in the blink of an eye, we ain't hear about it no more. We never heard about it no more. But now this young man is telling his story. And with these things, you don't know the truth because you wasn't there. We just got to come to some type of conclusion based upon what we're hearing from both sides, or one side, what we believe or don't believe. What I tell you this, I can tell that man in his face, I could tell he's traumatized. I could tell he's been through a lot. He's passionate about what he's saying. And I feel for him. Now, I know y'all wanted to pass out, and everybody was calling Diddy. He's a nasty, dirty dog, the baby oil, the this, that, and the other. This, I want to say his name is Braxton. This Braxton that is speaking out, you better hold on to your seats. He's claiming, he's alleging that, you know, a Tyler Perry throws similar parties like on a beach island or whatever, where I guess if we all doing the Oval, he takes all of us to the beach and we all just have relations with each other. This is what this young man Braxton is claiming. This ain't the Diva. And I said, oh my. Oh my. He's saying that's what happens. And everybody just getting in with each other. Then I guess afterwards they read their script, they go back to the set and they carry on like, you know, nothing ever happened. It's wild. It's messy. But lives are being destroyed. And it's sad. And I don't know, how do we, what is the remedy to this? Right? Because we've been hearing this a lot now. What is the remedy to this? Like, do you run? Do you have to give up on your whole career because you don't want to be victimized? We got to come up with a remedy because we've been hearing it too much now. It's got to be some safeguards put in place. It got to be some type of remedy. Because he also saying that he called none other than Gloria Allred. He said he called her. But he said he called a lot of people to try to help him, but nobody wanted to touch his case. Nobody wanted to help him because it's Tyler Perry, according to him. So what are you to do? And then here go the difference with this young man. I'm going to give it up to him. He said he called the police. And he claims even with the police department, there was a massive cover-up. So we've been shouting at the people, telling the people, why are you here now? Why you didn't file a police report? Why you didn't do this? Well, we can't say this to Braxton because Braxton said he called the police. And he said even they covered this thing up. So we got a lot to talk about. And we're going to talk about it because that's what we're here for. That's what we do in Trending Topics. The title is called The World is Broken. Y'all know what I need in the chat, right? I need a what? I need a choo-choo. Hold aboard, everybody. It is Sunday night Trending Topics, and we got stuff to talk about. The title is called The World is Broken. We got the Diddy verdict backlash, and we got Tyler Perry, an ex-employee, exposes the horrors, said that a very high exec at the Tyler Perry studios violated him. And then he got bamboozled once he spoke up. Let me bring the people on in the building. Hey, Felicia. Hey, Savannah.
Hey, Diva.
Hey, Julius. So,
hey, y'all, hit the like button. Your favorite moderator is watching. Hit the like button for the Diva and don't cheat the Diva. Cheat, boo, boo.
Thank you, Julius. Okay, so we are going to go ahead and start with this Diddy situation. You know, I can't even say that people are split. You got people that, for to make this summarize this a little easier, that people claim are team Diddy. You got people that are against Diddy, and you got some people that fall somewhere in between. A lot of his ex-employees are speaking up and speaking out. They're saying that this man is a terror. He's a monster, the Tasmanian devil. He does not belong back on the streets. And they're claiming that they are fearing for their life. They are fearing for their life if the judge lets release Diddy back into the general population, the world. So Gene Deal, an ex-employee of Diddy's, how long he worked for him, what time he worked for him, if he did work for him full-time, part-time, we ain't never going to know because, when Gene tells his story, in my opinion, they come out different every time. But that's the Diva opinion, okay? So he loves to go on the Art of Dialogue. And when he said this piece on the Art and Dialogue, I was like, whoa, this is heavy. This is a lot. Let me share a screen. I can't play the whole thing. You need to go to the Art of Dialogue to watch. But I'm going to give this little snippet. Because I was just like, I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I was shocked. Let's take a listen.
What direction do you think Diddy should go in when he do get up?
Well, you asking me what angle do I think that he should take once he get out of prison, and that could be 10, 15 years from now, it could be 5 years from now. I don't know, bruh. But what I would want him to do is hang himself. Do Epstein. That's the way I feel, bruh. Like people gonna look at that shit as being harsh, not godlike and everything like that. But I don't love my enemies.
When I heard that, I was in complete and utter shock. Let me go ahead and share screen because according to Diddy's lawyer, Mark, when he went back to the jail, because he did not get bail that day, the inmates was cheering for him. Diddy, round of applause from some bad boys. Fellow inmates cheered. Post-verdict, lawyer claims. Diddy was feeling the love when he had to go back to prison after the jury acquitted him on 3 of his 5 federal charges. Cause the cell block gave him a round of applause, his lawyer swears. Mark spoke with the Associated Press this weekend, and he told the outlet Diddy got a hero's welcome back at the federal prison where he's in custody. Mark claims the inmates all said, "We never get to see anyone who beats the government." But Diddy landed a win in his case, and it seems his fellow inmates reveled in it with him. The fallen mogul's already served about 10 months in prison since his arrest in September 2024. He tried to get out on bail after the verdict came in while awaiting sentencing, but Judge Ron Subramanian shot down the request, claiming he and his team didn't prove he isn't a danger to the community. Mark also told the Associated Press why he knew Diddy was probably getting off on sex trafficking charges before the verdict came down, reasoning that if the jury wasn't sure on racketeering, then it means they probably didn't find him guilty on trafficking since the 2 charges were linked in a way. We all have to wait and see how long Diddy's going to be in federal prison, but it sounds like he got some supporters on the inside. Now, what we do know is something is happening July 8th in the court, or 8th in the courts. That's Tuesday. And we have to wait and see what happens. And then as of this moment, the sentencing is supposed to be October the 3rd. Felicia, your thoughts on this story?
Well, good evening, everyone, and thank you, Diva. I'm so disappointed to have heard that come from Gene Dale's mouth. I'm wondering where we are collectively. It's unfortunate. I hope that your subscribers and the folks on this panel have found me to be consistent. I have said repeatedly that what I'd like to see is justice and a fair trial and righteousness. We all took a class here on this particular case, from the beginning of the stories to the civil lawsuit to the daily articles that were printed uh, about what may be happening, what we didn't see, what we didn't understand. And then, here comes Cinco de Mayo, and we're right there following the testimony, following the YouTube content creators. And while we're here, let me thank you again and all of the content creators who are out there on the ground, getting the truth out, getting that story out, so that we could make a decision. We could have a better perspective of what was actually happening in this case, and not having to go with mainstream media and the defense, prosecution, and the judge, because all of them have a vested interest in what gets put out. So I'm unhappy, very unhappy with what Gene said. I gather he does go into greater detail as to why he feels that way. And then he should go into even more depth to figure out why is it that he thinks it's okay to verbalize how he's feeling versus going to perhaps counseling and having a private one-on-one. As far as the folks down there at the MDC, there's a couple of millionaires in there. So I guess it's really good for this defense team. They're going to get some more business. They got a lot of people in there with good money that are looking for people to represent them. I gather that as we were, so were the inmates following the case. How about that? Following this case. And so they got a chance as well to see how one would defend against such a team of prosecutors and a judge and the law when it comes to trying to get to what is the truth, what is fair, and what is righteous. And so I'm glad Mark shared that part with us. And I'm not so glad about Gene feeling that he should put that out into this universe. Everyone is not a Diddy fan, but many of us are righteous fans, and we want truth to prevail. I'm done, Diva. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Someone in the chat, I lost a comment, said that Roger Bonds came out recently and said that Diddy wanted Gene Deal gone. The timing of some people's comments is so interesting to me. It really is, and why they feel the need to release this information out in the atmosphere. I think this whole Diddy case is loaded in so many different ways. And yeah, unfortunately for him, he has a lot of former employees that are mad. Some of them, I believe, are simply mad because they mad at the lack of pay they accepted for years upon years, and they're misdirecting their anger. They're mad at themselves. So now they want mutiny amongst the ex-employees, because what would be your need to put out there that, yeah, Gene Deal, Diddy wanted you done? Like, this is just crazy to me. So you just want chaos in the atmosphere, but yet Roger Bonds is on his channel talking about peace, love, and I'm just trying to take care of myself with this diabetes and all of that. But then you drop bombs in the street and you don't look back to see who is going to be impacted by these bombs. You're messy, Roger Bonds, messy. Savannah, you're and wait, before I move on, in Roger Bonds, you running your mouth, but there are some people that claim you knew more, saw more, and you helped more than you willing to say yourself. Savannah, your thoughts?
Hey Diva, hey panel. This trial has been a mental. It has caused mental exhaustion, I think, across many cultures, and those who are, whether you're a Diddy fan or not, it really has caused a lot of distress and distrust as well. I read an article, and it's funny you're doing this story. I read an article, I this morning while I was having coffee about how this verdict has it solidifies that the Me Too movement is dead. How I believe it was 8 men and 4 women acquitted him of violent charges, but they found him guilty of the 2 that he was found guilty of, when there was clear evidence of him being violent. But I bring that up because I then had a conversation. I was like, but did it though? Besides the video, which we all agree, it was DV. There was nothing else proven of him being violent. Kid Cudi, that wasn't proven. Any of the other incidents that we believe as a culture that Sean was involved in, from the incidents in the nightclubs to any of the 3 cities where he was known to be a resident of. Diddy was always had a reputation of being I don't know, gangster, street like, or whatnot, but none of that came out in the court. I think what did come out was that there was a ill-prepared prosecution, and it was a weak case, and what he was charged for was not proven. And whether you agree or disagree, facts are facts, and you can't argue against what was proven to not be true. So I don't understand all of these, with the Gene Deals and the other one coming out now and speaking. If you were really invested in seeing this man do some hard time, then you would have came out and brought clear cut evidence that you witnessed and were a participant of, and you would have been a witness to the prosecution. So don't be a parrot on YouTube now and wanting to do clicks and views. You should have been there front and center. Here's what I witnessed. Here's evidence. Here's, they should have put that. But I just see these as parrots, as leeches, as wanting to be for clicks and views. And this is what's wrong with the justice system. We have a president that was he has 34 counts. I believe it's 34 that he's charged with, 34 counts of also SA, and this man made it to the highest office in the world. And that this is what our society and our culture continues to battle. I also heard a conversation of where strong masculinity is under attack, which I don't believe that to be a case as well. I think that's BS. And I think we're twisting the narrative to fit our own agendas, regardless of the cultures or the age group or even the class. So I just see that this verdict is causing more division and feeding the beast of separation, and we're not done with this story by a long shot. We're not done.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Julius, your thoughts?
Okay, so as I said in the chat, I'm giving Gene Deal the side eye. And this is why. It's okay that you don't like the man. You ain't got to like the man, right? But to tell him he needs to do a Epstein, I'm sorry, but nah. Like, I don't know if he hurt you or not, Gene, but you're supposed to be this big old, rough rider. I'm from New York, OG, triple OG gangster. You're weak. Wishing for someone to unalive themselves, that's weakness to me. Like, and it makes me question all of your telltales that you were saying, because then you went quickly into recanting. And that makes all the collective go, hmm. So yeah, Gene Dale, you need to have several seats. You need to go pray. You need to talk to your pastor. You need to look in the mirror, and yeah, you need to grow up.
Thank you, Julius. Katrina, your thoughts?
Hey Diva, hey panel, hey chat. Um, I'm tired of these people. I'm honestly tired of these people. I kid you not. Um, Telling somebody to go and lie themselves because of this situation. You was there to see things happen firsthand, and you did nothing. So you on podcasts, going from this podcast, you got your own talking about this, talking about that. But what did you do? You walked away, or you got fired. And now everybody's coming out. Well, I seen him do so and so. I seen him do so and so. He should be locked up. So the first thing, I don't know how many times we have to say this. He was not on trial for DV. He was on trial for other things, and it wasn't proven. So if he was on trial for DV, obviously he been locked up or he had charges put on him. So by them saying that he had this and that, that's not what he got charged for. The things that he got charged for, he got a good lawyer. They cleared it up. As I said before, the ones that was there didn't want to be there. And this is all ridiculous. Social media is good, but then social media is a headache. And sometimes you have to detox yourself away from it because these people are toxic. You always all around there being toxic as well. He probably did it bopping too. Who knows? Like I said, you don't just hang around people and see all this stuff happening, and you saying you seen this happen, you seen that happen, but nobody called you to be a witness for the prosecution. You would have been a good one. No, because you would have purchased yourself, and you've been sitting right next to Diddy. So whatever happens, happens, and these people need to just stop. They just want that almighty dollar, and it's getting ridiculous hearing the same stories over and over again. That's all I got.
Who, Wayne, your thoughts?
Usually when somebody says something like that, they've seen a lot, to make them feel that way. They've seen a lot of egregious things just horrible things that would make you say that this person should unalive themselves. Okay. But on the other hand, he claimed he ain't seen nothing. When they asked him something, what was happening behind the doors? I don't know. I was just out there guarding.
Wait, but you better talk. You woke me up. You better talk to the people.
Oh, I was just out there. I was just guarding the door, make sure nobody go in. Okay. I know one time he said something about Usher, and he was there. Blah 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 blah. Okay. All of a sudden, he don't know nothing about it. He said it was just. I think he said it was just. He didn't know who it was, but it was. I saw an interview where he said, "Usher knows. Usher knows because I was there." Okay, so what I'm saying, when you want something done like that, or somebody to do something like that, you're deeply disturbing your mind because of things that you saw. But he claimed he saw nothing. He was just there to guard. So I wonder if he came to this epiphany after the trial or as the trial was going on, and he heard things. But according to him, he never seen none of this DV. He never saw nothing. So if you never saw anything and you was just doing your job, how do you come to this feeling that you would want somebody gone? Because you just based on and still we're like, we don't know what happened. I mean, we heard what happened, but nobody really knows the truth but the people who was there. But I just find it, that he would go out and say that on a platform like this and claim that he don't know nothing.
Well, I
And
will
he,
add this, Wayne, because I saw the whole thing. I can't play it because that's the art of the dialogue's work, right? I will say that he claimed that he never talked about it before what Diddy did to him personally. But he said he had to fight for his job because the feds was at his door after the Biggie situation, because they were saying that he was a witness to the situation. That's
but
what he.
why would you want somebody, and if it's just based on what this other, you said, I think you said Bond said that did he want you done or something like that? I mean,
Right.
did he tell you that? Did he tell you that, or this just word of mouth? Real strong person said, look, if he can come tell me that, because when you go on word of mouth, you could be wrong. The person could be lying to you, get you hyped up, so you go do something stupid.
That's facts.
So I just don't, I don't know anything about Gene Deal, but I'm just saying when you want to bring this kind of negative energy on somebody, I'm thinking because you've seen something. But every time we asked him, he didn't see nothing. They was in there. I was just told to watch the door. I'm told just to, I didn't see. I don't know if he did it, behind those closed doors, or if he DM'd somebody, because I didn't see it. I just did what I was told. That's it.
Thank you. Mulaney, I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Your thoughts?
Yes, it's Melanie. How y'all doing?
How are you?
I'm doing good. I wanted to give my little 2 cents. I'm nobody, so don't get mad at me, y'all. But it just seemed like some of these people, it's a little crazy because, especially with that Don Rashard, I think the reason why her testimony didn't go well is because we all seen her clout chasing the whole time from the beginning. Like, this is not just some normal stuff these people was doing. Like, they'll show up to episode after episode, claim it's not going well, but you on the episode for 3 or 4 years. And that's what I'm saying with Cassie. It's like, at first, you probably don't know what you're getting involved in. But once you seeing all this wild stuff, it's time for you to get out. Like, these people are like, it's something not adding up. It's like, I know these people are doing bad stuff, but why are you there to begin with? Because you could just get an office job. It's really not that serious. You could open up your own dance studio. It just seemed like these people want to clout chase so bad, and they know Hollywood is dangerous. We've been warned since back in the day. Don't even get involved with those folks. It's something going on. And they chose to do this. And then it's like now it's like, oh, these people were horrible. But why was you up in there? Like, what is really going on? We have to tell our kids not to do this mess. Because it's not worth it. Just to get your song out, just to be seen, and you seeing all this dangerous stuff that go down, why are you even contacting these folks, trying to be on their record label? None of that stuff. It's dangerous.
I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Let me go into this next story. What his name is Braxton Wells. He's a former employee of the Tyler Perry Studios. He's not accusing Tyler. He's accusing one of the high-level executives of grooming him, essaying him, and R-ing him. He said he did go to the police, and it was a massive cover-up. He said, he tried to get lawyers, and then the lawyers were kind of working with Tyler Perry, and they bamboozled him. He said he has PTSD now. His story has a lot of moving parts. Hang in there. I'm gonna connect the pieces because I listened to every piece of his story, and I will connect for y'all where I can. But it's a lot, and so he did get a settlement. He signed an NDA, but once the other gentleman who is actually accusing Tyler Perry of essaying him, when his story came out, this young man was a little upset. So his name is Braxton Wells. He was a little upset because he was like, with his story, he got coerced and they kind of buried it. But then this Derek comes out and he felt like his story kind of went, a little worldwide in comparison to his. Now, this, I'm starting from the beginning of his story for you. This bottom piece here, I just want to show you one. I don't want to play that because we're going to get I'm gonna get dinged or whatever. But I want to read this one piece from his first little post here. He said, Father, this world is flipped. The wicked walk free. The righteous are mocked, but you are still on the throne. You are separating the wheat from the tares. You are calling a remnant out of Babylon. And then he said, use me however you see fit, a mouthpiece, a messenger, a vessel. And then he said, let your name be praised. He's going through a lot, this young man. Now I'm gonna go up here. And so this is, it's 10 pages of pretty much a settlement he made and he signed the NDA. And he's gonna later on tell you how, he got bamboozled into this. He's an ex-vet. He has PTSD. And he said, everybody kind of took advantage of him. So this is what he wrote here. Tyler Perry Studios NDA clause to cover up a federal crime, right? And he tagged all different people to try to pick up the story and help him out. This is Mark Switton's name needs to be spread, just like TD Jakes, Diddy, and anyone else who's guilty of SA of any kind. The fact that these legal beagles use the law to circumvent or completely avoid being prosecuted is itself an injustice. I pray you get your day in court, is what somebody wrote to him. So he's just showing us their proof of this NDA. He writes here, please watch your words in the chat, please. And so right here, he says, no more speaking, just proof. He said, I was groomed in silence. Now I'm exposing the cover up. My name is Braxton Wells. I'm a U.S. Army veteran, and I'm speaking up for every survivor who was told to just stay quiet. He said, what happened in January 2022, I was argued by Mark E. Switton, a VP at Tyler Perry Studios, after being lured across state lines from California to Georgia under the pretenses involving my work on BD's The Oval. Okay, so now everybody, as a result, Diva thoughts here of this Diddy trial, they're getting a different definition of this S trafficking. Okay, Gray, I see you backstage. You never been here before. Before I pull you up, I would need to see your face, and then you could go back on your avatar, and I'll pull you up if you want to come up, and then I will let you come up and speak. Let me see where we're at. Switten, he said he was lured from California to Georgia under false pretenses. I was a retired veteran with PTSD. They used my mental health, trauma, and status against me, but the R was only the beginning. My civil attorney, Jeannie Harrison, pushed me into a secret NDA while the criminal case was still open. She never told me about my federal military protections. She never filed a civil case. And she worked behind the scenes with Tyler Perry's defense team, he's saying. The entire system failed by design. And then he talks about how everything that happened to him is a federal crime. And he actually lists cases and statutes and so forth and all that. So he lists the federal law that in the Crime of Victims and Whistleblower Protection Act. So he's listing all this stuff, to prove that he was done dirty with his particular case. And he's saying that he was done dirty because Tyler Perry has these powers, right? So he signed an NDA under coercion, mental distress, and concealed legal rights. Okay, you can go back on Avatar, Gray, and I'll pull you back up. You can go back on Avatar. I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
No worries. I'm here to help.
Okay, so let's go here. And again, he puts a proof of this settlement there, right? He put a lot of information. He puts in here like his flight reservation to prove that, he was, all the flight reservations and some cash apps and stuff that he received, different things like that. So he has a lot of, what he's, supplying as evidence, right, in here. Let's go to his first part here. Hang in there, y'all. Let's listen to him.
All right. I'm not about to hide anything with you guys. I'm not.
And I'm not about to sit here and be afraid and be silenced by people knowingly they did me wrong. I'm calling out Tyler Perry Studios. I'm calling out Mark Swinton. I'm calling out Jeannie Harrison. I'm calling out Michael Robbins. I'm calling out Tyler Perry. And I'm calling out Mark Temple. And I'm calling out Chris Giovanni. I want you guys to know what you guys did to me was very unlawful. And me being a retired vet, U.S. Army vet, going through post-traumatic stress disorder, going through mood, depressions, everything that I've claimed in my testimony. You all covered it up. You all covered up a felony crime of what Mark Swin has done to me. I've asked for help from the California State Bar to complain to Jeannie Harrison because she didn't tell me my California rights as a U.S. Army veteran and a California LA resident. I'm sitting here looking on the news that this kid named Derek Dixon is getting unlimited jurisdiction, quit pro, as a LA resident, right? His incident happened in 2020 in Georgia in an employment place. He said he had a sexual harassment, and he was groped by Tyler Perry in Georgia as an employment place. But he's an LA resident. All right, y'all tracking what I'm saying? 2022, my incident. I get sexually assaulted and raped, drugged, blacked out. That's a felony crime. And it happened in Georgia as a LA resident. So if you guys don't know the laws in Georgia, this is what they put against me. They said I had a 2 years of a statute of limitation. I got 5 months late. 2 years of statute.
Okay, that was his part one. Here go his
2 years of statute of limitation, right? Now let's go back to Derek Dixon. 2020, same incident, but just a different, he has sexual harassment. That's way before statute of limitation, right? 2 years, right? That's what, 4, 5 years? And he gets a lawsuit with his attorney, Jonathan Delshad. Jonathan Delshad gets him a $260 million lawsuit. And it's all over TMZ, it's all over Fox, it's all over every news outlet that you can name up. Right? Every news outlet. But my civil attorney. Now let's go on a story. How all this stuff happened to me. Ever since I came out with my first video. Right? And I'm gonna tell you right now, Mr. TP, I'm not afraid of none of y'all. I'm not afraid of none of your lawyers. I'm not even part of this business, entertainment business anymore. You're gonna get exposed. Me being with Yahweh Elohim, Yahshua the Messiah, I am covered. And I'm about to expose every demon that is literally possessing you right now. I met a guy who's my manager named Chris Giovanni. Now, I was, I had an agent out in Atlanta. Her name is Joy Purvis. Everybody knows Jake Purvis, of course, and I told her I was going to go to this guy named Chris Giovanni. And Joy told me, oh, no, you shouldn't go to him. He's a bad guy. And he's not going to be the right manager for you. So I'll say this. I meet Chris. I get signed, He wanted to have dinner. He wanted to meet up at Mama Shelter in Los Angeles. Mama Shelter is closed right now. It's closed down, but that's where me and him met up at, and we had a conversation.
So I told him about my situation. Like, I was just telling him what I went through. And, I went through the whole Tyler Perry situation with Mark Swinton and what he did to me, paying me $6,000 to shut the hell up, to not ruin my career, his career, or anything like that. And, you know, I told him about the situation I went through, me being sexually assaulted and raped. And he told me, he was like, oh, yeah, I had the same client that went through that. And all my clients who are on working with Tyler, you know, they're going through a lot of stress. And people are taking advantage of his clients. Even somebody, 2 years of statute of limitation.
So it's confusing, but let me say what he's saying. He's saying this Mark, the day that he violated him, he said he got something slipped in his drink pretty much. He passed out. Next thing you know, he woke up. This happened to him. He's saying that, I can't remember if he said it was Cash App or PayPal to him, but Mark sent him $6,000 and told him to just shut up about it. So that's kind of the gist of that conversation there. Let's listen to part 3.
Oh, yeah, I had the same client that went through that. And all my clients who are on working with Tyler, you know, they're going through a lot of stress. And people are taking advantage of his clients. Even somebody, a female lead right now, I think her name is Melissa, who's on Ruthless, is saying the same thing, that she's ready to leave Tyler Perry too. But that's another side of the story. I'm not even talking about that right now. He was the one that kind of orchestrated everything and told me, I think you need to report this. I think you need to say something, because I've been holding on for this for 2 years. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know who to go to. Being an actor, as y'all all know, it's a hard situation to go through. This is your life. This is what you want. This is your career. This is your dream, right? This is all that you want. But then, you got somebody that you trust, your manager, that's going to support you in this. And he's like, I'm gonna help you, but I need you to, when I do tip off this guy, and he's talking about Mark Temple, who's Tyler Perry's attorney. But yeah, but let's keep going. He tips Mark Temple's attorney and told him, hey, I have a client that's going through the situation. What you want me to do with this? So Mark Temple tips off Tyler. As I quote, Tyler was pissed. Right? Tyler was pissed. And that's all I hear from, Chris. And Chris was telling me, they're going to have a third party attorney that's going to contact you, and they're going to do, it's going to be normal. And they're going to ask you, hey, we've been hired for Tyler Perry Studios to do a employment place investigation. But, Tyler's going to know about all the information. He's going to know about what's happening, about all the accusations, right? Okay, so let's get to the nice things here. So Chris tells me, hey, just tell them that I try to send you an audition for Straw and this and that, and because I don't want to be having a conflict of interest, because I have clients, they're making about $100,000 each episode. I mean, well, they're making, their client, his client is making $1 million, but he's making $100,000 on each client. And I'm pretty sure he has, like, he told me it was like 3 clients that he had on there. But anyway, that's like the moral of the story. But he told me to lie for him. That's red flag number 1. He's been working for Tyler for since he was 18. I think the guy's like 32 now. I'm not really good at math, but pretty sure that's what. Oh yeah, I had the same client that
he's like a little all over the place with his.
He's been working for Tyler for since he was 18. I think the guy's like 32 now. I'm not really good at math, but pretty sure that's almost 13 years. I'm not really good at math, but that's a very long time. The guy knows the guy very well. So I'm going through the investigation, right, guys? Michael Robbins sends me a message. He has this other paralegal that's typing up all my stuff. Okay, she's listening to everything in my whole testimony. I tell her everything. What happens. I even got the testimony written out and everything. I literally have everything. So, I'm over here trying to figure out, okay, should I get an attorney? I don't know what to do. This just doesn't seem right, right? So I'm trying to figure out to get an attorney. I let Chris know I want to get an attorney. The dude gets pissed off, talking about you don't need to get an attorney. You're just gonna cause problems and all this and blah blah blah. We can't have this happen. And I'm just like, well, I need to be protected because I don't know what these guys are gonna do. They're gonna manipulate me. These guys are very powerful. They're billionaires. They can do anything. I don't have shit. I ain't got money like them. I don't have shit. I don't got nothing like them. I'm just trying to take down the person who sexually assaulted and raped me. That's the person I'm trying to take down. But here, it gets even much better. While I'm looking for an attorney, I'm looking for entertainment lawyers to try to see who's connected in the business that can really help me out in this situation because I don't have anybody. I have a case, but everybody's not trying to take on my case because it's so political. People don't want to ruin their reputation. And I don't know why people don't. I just feel like it's just so stupid how this entertainment business runs. These people are sitting here like, oh, I'm not trying to mess up my political rep, if I take on the case like this, and then they're just ruining me. Who gives a shit, man? You got a person over here that's been sexually assaulted, and that's a felony crime. Let me say that again. That is a felony crime. Okay? Vulnerable, PTSD, 100% disabled veteran that is going through it. And to be honest with you, I'm federally protected. But I'll get better. I'll continue that story better on to my story when I'm trying to tell you. I'm looking for an entertainment lawyer. There's this guy named Doug Johnson. Doug Johnson, I don't know. I guess he deals with stuff like this with sexual assault. But he's like, this ain't my type of thing. But I think I know a woman that can really do this for you. So he introduced me to this lady named Jeannie Harrison. Jeannie Harrison, I guess she repped for the Harvey Weinstein victims. And, I don't know what happened in the Harvey Weinstein, and I've seen that he went to jail. He's been indicted and stuff like that. He's been working for Tyler for since.
All right. So I think, what part was that? What part are we on?
So, but he's like, this ain't my type of thing. But I think I know a woman that can really do this for you. So he introduced me to this lady named Jeannie Harrison. Jeannie Harrison, I guess she repped for the Harvey Weinstein victims. And, I don't know what happened in the Harvey Weinstein, and I've seen that he went to jail. He's been indicted and stuff like that. But it sounds like it's good on paper, right? She's got everything that you need, right? So let's continue. She takes on my case. I tell her from the beginning of the story, I tell her, listen, I had a lot of attorneys tell me in Georgia, because I don't know my rights, because I live in Los Angeles. I'm a resident of Los Angeles, but I went over there and traveled in an employment place and came back, right? So, they're saying the statute of limitation is 2 years. And I told her this straight up. This was statute of limitation for 2 years. And I had several attorneys tell me that in Georgia. So I was like, well, they were telling me you're going to have to get a civil attorney in LA because you're a resident in LA. So I'm going here trying to figure out the situation. I'm telling her, she still takes on the case. But she says, hey, I'm about to go on vacation for a whole month, and I'll let you know when things are going good. I waited a month. Okay? I waited a month. No words. Nothing. I haven't heard from anyone. I haven't talked to anyone. I only talked to her paralegal. Paralegal's like, just keep sending us some of your doctor stuff and your medical documents. Now, as you know, guys, that's HIPAA Act. Giving out federal documents, what I'm going through in my medical procedures, and knowingly, I didn't know they were trying to keep a felony crime hidden. That is a felony crime, and that's federal. But I'll continue. I'm giving all my medical documents to an attorney that is representing me. right? And she doesn't mention any of this stuff to them. Now, I know she's going to tell me, oh, I've said these things and blah, blah, blah. But why haven't you tell me my rights in Los Angeles? Why haven't you tell me I had unlimited jurisdiction in Los Angeles? Why you didn't tell me I had quid pro in Los Angeles? Why was this case not seen by a judge, jury, or so? But he said, this ain't my type of thing.
Who become
Derek Dixon's case? Because I wanted criminal and I wanted civil. But she said it was impossible to do any of that because of the statute of limitation in Georgia. Oh, and I totally forgot. The third party attorney, Michael Robbins, who was doing the investigation, she's been doing business with him for over 15 years, and they've done the same. They were working together in the same practice before for 15 years. They worked on the same cases together as a team. Conflict of interest. A vulnerable victim that's been sexually assaulted and raped, mood disorder, PTSD, depression. Going through a lot. And you took advantage of my medical documents. No Silence Act order in California as a resident. As a VA disability retired soldier, I cannot be silenced doing me having a disability. That's a federal crime. I can't be silenced or coerced or pressured to be into signing in anything without seeing a judge, a jury. And I was never told those rights. That's legal malpractice. I make a police report while I'm in Colombia to the Roswell police in September 25th when I came out with my first video. Before I even signed the NDA. And the NDA was signed in October 31st. Because I even told her I didn't trust her. I didn't trust what they were doing. They were manipulating. I felt like I was being pressed. Even the third party interviewer, Michael Robbins, didn't even give us a conclusion on the case. He didn't even tell us who was at the wrong or anything. He didn't even give us any information. Tyler Perry knew everything. He kept all that information silent. Everything silent. He didn't let anyone know. But my attorney saying, hey, I got text messages of the lady telling me this. Derek Dixon's case. Because I wanted criminal.
It's a lot. Let's just go through some of his thing here. So, summary of my testimony to the investigators on the details of what happened to me and what I told detective and my attorney who failed me. So remember, guys, in this particular one's case, he did go to the police, okay? So the first time I met Mark E. Swinton, I booked a 16 episode on Ruthless, playing the role Belle with the help of Cindy Butler at I Submit Talent Agency in Atlanta, Georgia. I was on Zoom call with him and somebody drummer letting me know how much how much they love my self-tape, and I did my self-tape at North Hollywood at Creation Studios. They booked me at on a first class ticket from Los Angeles to Atlanta, Georgia. I had a driver waiting on me at the Atlanta airport to take me to the Intercontinental Hotel. All I can say, y'all, is if somebody invites you to the Intercontinental Hotel, don't go. On November 6, 2019. So when it was time for me to come on set on November 7, 2019, they took pictures of me in wardrobe and wig. And then when I was about to work, Mark Switten calls me in the office, letting me know that they were sending me back home and letting me know I had a 17-year-old face, but I had a man's body. And I took it as a professional matter. And what I did, Mark said he was impressed how I handled it and how I handled it well, and said he will promise me a role in the future. Then 2 years later, we stayed in contact, and he booked me for the role cult member on the Oval on October 19th, 2021. As in TP Studios flew me out to LAX to Atlanta, November 1st, 2021, 12:20 p.m. PST time on Delta Airlines, and landed in Atlanta at 7:40 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I had to Uber myself to the Intercontinental, and Mark got my COVID test so I can hang out with me, this Mark Switten. And I didn't think anything of it because this guy was powerful at Tyler Perry Studios. I was like honored he would want to hang out with me, and I was like someone that was coming up in the business. And he continues to text and ask me where I'm at, and I was hanging out with this girl named Tyler. So this guy Braxton was with a girlfriend, I'm gonna call her Tyler, at the time when the exec Mark Switten was texting him, okay, asking me about her and where I was and what I was doing. And I kept telling him that I was with Taylor at Sauce Buckhead. Then he would say he may stop by and buy me a drink. And he did, bought me a drink, and he got himself a drink and my girlfriend Taylor. And then me and him walked outside, and he was telling me about what Tyler Perry does at his Bahamas Island with his male actors and female actors, and they all have relations with each other. This is what he's claiming he was told, and kept repeating that to me when he flew me back to Atlanta on January 6th of 2022. Then November 4th, 2021 at 10:54 a.m. PST time, he would ask me how did my performance go on set, and I said Tyler, meaning Tyler Perry, said I did an incredible job, and then text me on November 4th, 2021. You have plans tonight. We can hang out at my crib tonight, and you can keep your original flight back. And I thought it was crazy. He wanted to hang out with me at his crib, and I'm just an actor. I thought I was building a great relationship with someone that could change my career. And then January 5th, 2022, Mark texted me wanting to see me again and asking my name and date of birth, and booked me a flight back to Atlanta on January 6th on Delta Airlines. That's why earlier he showed us the whole Delta Airlines flight. I was asking me what kind of liquor I like, and I said Don Julio, 1942. And picking that steakhouse, he think I would like. And then text him, I landed at Atlanta, letting me know he was at Terminal S3, and letting me know he is parked at the cell phone lot and driving around to pick me up at arrivals. And I saw him in his Mercedes G-Wagon, and he told me we were headed to Marcel's Steakhouse. While we were driving, Tyler Perry calls him and telling me to be, and he told me this Mark Switten told him to be quiet. And he has him on speaker, basically saying things about other actors and calling them annoying and bad-mouthing other crew members. Then we got to the steakhouse on Buckhead and told me I can get anything I want, and he orders me Don the drink. While I'm drinking my first drink, he orders more drinks, and I ordered 3 drinks straight on the rocks, and I was already drunk at this point. And then I'm talking about my career, but he didn't seem interested in that. He kept telling me how handsome I am. And then when we leave the restaurant, he takes me back to his crib and showing me his $250,000 painting he has in his house in his big aquarium. And I was like, wow, I can't believe I'm in his house. And he asked me if I want more to drink, and we go to his movie theater that's in his house, and he made me a drink, and I was drinking with him. And I started feeling weird at this point already when I had another drink, because we went in his movie theater and we were watching a movie, and I didn't remember half of the things he was talking about. All I remember is he took me upstairs in his room, and he had another room and watching another movie and gave me another drink, and felt extra unbalanced, and I was not coherent, and I couldn't fight anymore. I felt tranquilized, and I knew he put something in my drink, and he started to trying to kiss my neck and kiss me, and I told him to stop, and he told me, no, it's okay, and I got you, don't worry, come in my room. I couldn't move at all. I felt like my whole body was paralyzed. And then he started taking my clothes off and turned me around, and I couldn't move, and started putting Vaseline in my behind area and started driving his body part into my behind. I couldn't move and I couldn't get him off of me. And I started hurting. And then I blacked out. And I don't remember what else he did to me after that. And I woke up the next morning, and he sent me $6,000 Apple Pay to keep quiet about everything. And I was lost for words, and I was extremely mad and embarrassed. I told him I need to take a shower, and I noticed I was wiping myself in the shower, and I had Vaseline on me and blood mixed together on the washcloth. And I was breaking down crying in the shower, and I didn't know what to do. I came to the realization that I was awed by Mark E. Swinton, and I was afraid to speak up about this situation for 2 years because I thought I was going to be blackballed from Hollywood. I left his crib and got me a hotel in Buckhead. And going through this dramatic experience, it made my PTSD worse, and my mental health was worse. Since I'm a retired vet in the Army, and I've been, thinking about taking my life before all this time, I couldn't live the way I wanted to. I was basically homeless, and I was house hopping. I kept in contact with Mark and stayed on his good side because I was scared Mark could ruin my acting career, and I just tried to make him happy. But I wanted to report him for so long. But I seen a psychologist at the VA to talk to someone about what had happened to me, and he said they kept changing his doctor, so he did not have a consistent doctor for 6 months. I'm kind of like moving along here, but I couldn't live through this burden. It was eating me alive, and I want justice for my mental health that Mark E. Swinton has caused me. And I want all the victims to speak up for all the things he has done, and that Tyler Perry's right-hand man. So he said, this is Tyler Perry, right-hand man, and I want justice for the emotional distress and mental illness and thoughts he has caused me. My life has not been the same ever since this happened to me. I wanted to not be here anymore and just let myself be with God. He has a lot of other stuff that he has connected to here. I'll just kind of go through it with you. He puts here that he contacted Gloria Allred, but she didn't help him. He goes through more parts of the story. I can't go through it, y'all. We went through enough of them. And this is a picture of the man that he's accusing, along with, he's not accusing Tyler Perry, but this is the man that he's accusing, is Mark E. Swinton, and that's the man next to Tyler Perry. And he's saying that, he was groomed, and then he's given all of this guy's information. Oh, God, it's a lot. I know it's a lot. Felicia, your thoughts?
Diva, I am so angry right now. I'm just clearly there's something challenging for this young man in processing information, social relationships. It appears he's easily taken advantage of. He trusts people easily. These predators, they don't just go after everybody. They have marks. They know who's vulnerable. Wants one of the things that Braxton had said was this was his career. This was everything to him. This meant everything to him. So they understand that, some people have a different level of hunger and desperation and desire to achieve XYZ goal. And that's part of the marking as well. There are just moments in life where these predators break the human spirit and destroy people. And this sounds like one of those moments. I'm so sorry that so many want to be in this industry. They want that fame. They want that money. They want that fortune. And they're so willing to trust others to the point that one night, 1 hour, your whole life is messed up.
Ooh, child.
Your whole life is never going to be the same again. I believe I said this before, particularly to my young sisters up there in the middle row and the back row, anybody, and I mean anybody, who comes to you and introduces you to drugs, asks you to take a drug, pop a pill, do the ketamine, the Molly, the what is it? The Don Julio 1942 4 times over. Please, God in heaven, walk away. You got a cell phone, say, oh, did I tell you I called the car? I got to go. Go while you can. Because we don't know what happened to him, because he don't know what happened to him. He got an idea, but he don't remember.
Oh, my God.
So I don't know what's more traumatic, to know what happened to you or not know what happened to you. But you know something happened.
Yeah.
And it's changed your life. Please tell the person, I didn't get to tell you. I called the car. I'm on my way out. Thank you so much for dinner. It was nice meeting you. All of these stories, I don't care who it is, there is an entryway of some kind of violation before the upset, the brutality comes into play.
Right.
When you see it, when you hear it, be brave enough, courageous, trust yourself. Oh, I gotta go. Sorry, I can't stay. Thank you for having me. Thank you for welcoming me. Save yourself. Walk away.
Oh,
I'm done.
Amen. And thank you for the good message there. So I said at the beginning of this conversation that we're hearing these stories too much over and over and over and over again. We got to figure out a way of how do we help people get out. And Felicia just said it. They're calling it grooming because it steps to this thing. Don't be impressed about going to nobody's house. I don't need to go to your house to do this acting role right here. I'm good. Katrina, your thoughts?
I'm with Felicia. You can tell something is off with this kid, with this young man. I don't know what happened to him, what he doing in the military, why he got out with PTSD. I know it's very stressful, and you see things in the military that you don't believe that you would see. They break you down to build you back up. It's a mental thing, big time. That's something I do know. Um, with this guy, he said he went to the police. What 2 years later? He went to the police 2 years later. The people took his case on. Well, I know it is a 2 year statute limitations on different things. And I hope, and it seems like he tried to do the right thing, but he signed that NDA. And I don't know if they're going to try to come back for him to get that money back as well, because he posted the NDA. And I know he said he felt like he was pressured into doing this, which he probably was. We don't know. And what I'm saying is, he coming out now. Is he coming out now? Which we know he's been, victimized and all that. Is he coming out because the other guy getting the other guy lawsuit hasn't went through anyway? That's just a lawsuit. He hasn't been settled on anything. Is he coming out because of the 261 million, and because he only got 500,000? I'm not saying that, that's all he's coming out for. I'm just asking this question. Like, why are you coming out now when this guy got the 260 some million going for where he going for 261 million? Not that he got it, but that's what he's asking for. So, and the lawyers allow him to ask for that amount. So I'm saying, is this the reason why you telling us now? Because yours wasn't big as his, or big as the one that he wants to have it, which nobody deserved to be violated. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that. I'm just asking that question. And I honestly feel sorry for him. I really do. I really do feel sorry for him. But I'm just asking that question. Is you coming out now because of the guy was asking for a bigger payday than what they gave you? but hopefully he'll get some justice. But I hope they don't come back after him because he signed that NDA and then he posted it. So all I can say is good luck to you, young man. I feel for you. I really do, because you got slapped in the face every which way you turned. So I hope he gets some type of justice other than what they have done to him. That's all I got.
Thank you. Gray, you're new in the building. Go ahead, talk to us.
Good evening, Gray Haired Diva and everybody else. Thank you so much for letting me on the platform. I really appreciate it.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna give the disclaimer first, and then I have a different opinion. So
Okay.
one, maybe this is the beginning of the He Too movement. I really do think men probably have a harder time reporting because this really goes against everything they're supposed to be. They're supposed to be the protectors, so they definitely shouldn't be preyed upon. And can you imagine walking into a police station saying some guy overpowered you and even sexually? So I sympathize with male victims of sex crimes. I'm not so sure this guy is one of them. You know, his story sounds very similar to these women who cry wolf later. So, you know, the statute of limitations is up. You put yourself at his house. You took the drinks. You took a shower in his shower before you left, and you stayed friendly and you stayed in contact. And it sounds like he had already made a complaint and that complaint got settled. And after all the statute, after everything is when he made his complaint and he got 500,000. Okay, you was fine with that until you thought it's 260 mil. I think he thought, hey, I'm doing good. You know, that night of sex, cause you know that guy, he had to pay 500,000. But it doesn't pass the smell test for me at all.
Whew. All right. I appreciate you coming through. Thanks for being in the building. I want to say this.
Can I say something else too?
Of course, yes.
I'm gonna need people who make these really serious claims against people to exercise all their options. So one, I'm gonna need a police report this timely. If you can't manage that, I'm gonna need you to go to the doctor. What are your your medical issues? What happened to you? You know, he wants to show the NDA. Why don't you show me the date of when you made the report at the emergency room? And does that correlate with the time at the house? You know, you keep saying, well, he gave me a drink. Well, you accepted a drink. I'm gonna need you to take some accountability. Okay. And you say, well, I kept in contact with him afterwards, you know, because I just want to keep my job. Okay, but that doesn't sound like somebody viciously raped you. You do see the conflict there. You know, even if it would be more understandable if you never went back. Also, I'm going to need you to go to your therapist and make a report. Do we have a date that this was reported to your therapist? Can they testify on your behalf? Did you make that entry in your diary? Did you tell a best friend? Did you take a picture of anything? Did you send a text message back and forth? Did you try to come up with any way to prove your point? Because we can't just allow people to wait years to make allegations against us. As people who could be accused, how then do you defend yourself?
Well, Gray, let me ask you this. How do you feel about Cassie?
I don't believe her at all.
Ooh. How do you feel about Jane? How do you feel about Jane?
No, that's not gonna work. You know what I'm saying? This is the thing. We think of, to me, when we keep saying, oh, these people are rich and they're powerful. Okay, that also makes them targets. That also makes them a money grab situation. And here we go with another pile on with the Tyler Perry situation. So in the situation with Cassie, I mean, clearly this is what you want to do. Clearly it's what you want to do. And I think when people say the domestic violence, clearly there was domestic violence. But let me ask you this. Let's say somebody commits a murder. and the murder is on tape. And they go to trial for the murder. And then they say, oh, by the way, they did this bank robbery too. As a juror, and I'm not charging with the murder, I'm just charging with the bank robbery. Do you see what I'm saying? Those are two separate things.
Mm-hmm.
Two separate crimes.
Whew.
So I believe she was a victim of domestic violence, but I don't think being a victim of domestic violence turns your brain into pudding pop and you can't make any decisions for yourself. I don't believe that.
Well, I appreciate you for coming through. All I can say is yikes. I do I do like a concept you added with hashtag he too. I do think that whether you are a male or female who gets violated, it is not easy to speak up. I will say that. And I'll say this, especially if you're a man and then a man violated you, I'm sure it is even harder. The thing about this guy here is he does have receipts. And my thing is, why would you be sending me $6,000 if something didn't go down or something didn't happen? I think he did go to the police. It's his thing is loaded. I think each case has to be looked at differently. He said he went to the police. It was corruption all the way around. This is his claim. It's corruption all the way around. He said he went to the police. He went to lawyers. He wanted a criminal case. Now, do I also think, in addition to that, that he feels like, he got ran over by a train, so to speak, because when he tried to speak up, his stuff was smothered. But then here you come a few months later or whatever after him, and here's this other guy comes out and he feels like his was mainstream and he's perhaps suing for trying to get 260 million. But what he has to understand is, although that guy's case did hit mainstream, it only lasted for it dropped on cotton. It lasted for like 2.2 seconds. But I can see as a victim how you would feel like, wow, how did his case go this far? But for me, nobody even heard about my case, and I was forced to sign this NDA. So now he's got to, he's talking. All I can say is it is a lot. Let me move on to Wayne. Wayne, your thoughts?
I believe everything he said. Unfortunately, he got bamboozled. They told him the statute of limitations, all that, But it's just us as just regular people. One is like, if I'm not a big drinker, I drink sometimes, just socially. But if I'm going out, I don't drink, and if I do, it's like one drink. It's not going to be something that could impair me. Because my thing is that I like to know where I am. I like to know my environment in case I got to make a quick exit, and I don't want to be impaired. I don't want to be dizzy and stuff like this, can't find the exit or whatever. Okay. And he said he had 3 drinks. And he said he was drunk. Okay. I don't know how old he was. Whether he, jugged him down real fast or whatever. I don't know his alcohol limit, but 3 drinks. And now you put yourself in the hands of an abuser. And you go to his house. You have some more drinks. I think at 3 drinks, I would be like, hey, I've had a bit too many, I'm not going to have any more. But you have more. And I'm not victim shaming. I'm just telling, just like, hey, if you go places and stuff like that, and you're by yourself, and you don't have no backup, certain things you shouldn't be doing. And one of them, I'm not going to find myself in a situation where I'm so impaired I have to spend the night at somebody's house I don't know that well, but they're a nice person. I'm not gonna put my body or my life in the hands of nice people that I just met, or because they're doing two things for me. One, if you're doing too much, I'm gonna have a problem because I'm thinking like, okay, the free lunch program is over. What do you want? What do you want? You're showing me your $250,000 painting, throwing me around your house, and all this. And I think you get caught up because he sounded like he was impressed. But when you, with the drinking and all this, and well, good thing he did, he went to the police in time, and I do believe him that his case, either they didn't take it serious or they know TP and they was able to cover it up. Alita Harbour, the acting attorney general of New Jersey, down in Mar-a-Lago, it was the girl down in Mar-a-Lago who was being essayed or harassed, and she had said something about it, and it got to Alina Harbour, and what she did, because she was trying to get close to Trump, so she told Trump, "I'll handle it." Now she's a lawyer. She said, "I'll handle it." Okay, and she bamboozled that girl out of big money, had her settle for a small amount, and then when the girl found out, she was like, I see you made me sell too little, and you're cahoots with these people. Okay, so I believe she got in trouble for that. So I do believe where people go and try to, expose somebody or whatever that's done something to them, and they turn a blind eye to it because of the people who did it, and they just like, hey, I think they pick and choose. Because I'm sure it's a lot of good lawyers out there. Somebody would take his case. But I think if you're looking in Atlanta or places like that where TP is well known and just well known all over the world, but when he sent that $6,000, he should have sent it back. Okay. Acceptance is you accepted it. I mean, you can't take the money and have a good time, blah 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 blah, and then come back. Hey, I think I need more. And now he says past the statute. Somebody said in the chat that statute of limitations. There's no statute of limitations on R. I don't know if that's correct, but now that he does it, it's going to make it harder. If the statute of limitations have already expired, it's going to make it harder because that means a lawyer not only has to overcome your assault, but now they have to overcome the statute of limitations.
The statute, there are no statute of limitations on that. They are correct.
Okay.
That in the chat. But now it's a matter of proving it.
Well, I think he went to the police, but did he go to the police 2 years later? Katrina said something about 2 years later.
It said he took him 2 years to talk about it, so I will roll with he did. Well, hold on one second. BB Radio, I see you have a lot of comments, and I know that these particular conversations they trigger different things with different people. There's room on the panel. Come up, let us hear your side. If you want to. Everybody has a side. Why don't you come up so we can hear your side? No, I'm not mad at you commenting on the topic. I'm fine with that, but I'm just wondering if you would like to come up and tell us your side. Wayne, anything else?
That's it.
Thank you. Julius, your thoughts?
Okay, so I do have a perspective to this, and it is as a SA survivor. It is not easy to talk about. There is shame that happens because we feel like we won't be believed. I want to believe this young man, and I want to feel that he is telling the truth. And we all know that the powers that that are at May, if one of their peoples acts up, they will cover it up. If it is proven that this young man is telling the truth, especially by the payment of the $6,000, I shall and do hope he is victorious. And I hope, also, I think more information needs to come out as well.
Thank you, Julius. Melanie. All right, we might have lost Melanie on this conversation. Yes, this is a very heavy topic, right? And it's always heavy. And I think this is part of the struggle with those involved in these situations. They know not only are they going to be questioned about the time frame in which they decided to speak, why they didn't speak up in real time, and question about the different ways that they handle their situation. All I could say is that a lot of times in these particular situations, more people are impacted probably than not, but the ones that are impacted, they're sitting back, they're like, oh, look at Diva, she spoke up and they're dragging her for filth. I ain't getting involved. Go ahead, Felicia.
Diva, if I may ask, I'm a little confused. What did the NDA say, or what was this? What did they give him the $500,000 for?
I guess for everything that he was going through. So what he's saying is that he's saying that it was a lot of corruption in his situation, because when he came forward, he didn't just come forward for a civil suit. He wanted civil, he wanted criminal. He wanted this man to be charged for what he did to him. He said he went to the police, he went to detectives, he spoke to people about his situation. But what he's also saying is that the lawyer that finally decided to help him was in cahoots with Tyler Perry's lawyers, the lawyers for Tyler Perry Studios. So they kept giving him the runaround, and they claimed they was going to get this third party involved, and everybody talking to them. And then next thing you know, she said, because there was one, I probably didn't show it to y'all. There was one, I'm gonna take a guess. Let's say they asked for $1 million. Then the people came back and set a price, and she said, we're going to try to negotiate 650,000. And then the next thing you know, I guess allegedly, they came to an agreement of 500,000. But what he's saying is that they all took advantage of him, because the lawyer also never told him about his different rights. And they kept telling him when he went to file, no, you have to file in Georgia because that's where it's from. No, you got to file. You got to get somebody, from California. Yeah, he settled, but he's saying he settled without having all the proper information and without knowing all of his rights, and without knowing that at the time, everybody behind the scenes was in cahoots working with Tyler Perry, which is against his favor. So his thing is loaded, and he has the text messages, he has the DMs, the IMs, the whatever. He got everything to kind of prove in his favor. But I could see now, though, too, it's interesting. His thing is kind of low level. It hasn't hit any mainstream media that I saw so far. Savannah, you popped in the building. Any thoughts on this?
My apologies, Diva. We're going through some storms here in Virginia, so my internet's spotty. This is my first time hearing of the young man's story, but he seems to be very credible. We must not forget that Tyler Perry bought a military base, a whole military base, and converted that to a movie studio, which brought hundreds, if not thousands, of jobs to the city, has brought in so much revenue, um, does have connections with law enforcement, every decision maker that you can think of in Atlanta, Tyler Perry has some connection to. I'm not surprised that the previous young man, the $260 million lawsuit, is no longer talked about. It stayed on mainstream media for maybe 24 hours, and we have yet to hear anything further on the lawsuit or the young man. And what I found interesting is that these two, both these young men were on the same show, The Oval, and they both were essayed. So I find that the most interesting out of this article, um, what I find it difficult to believe that he only accepted $6,000 for the torturous violation that he just
No.
experienced.
He got more, Savannah. The $6,000 came from the night that it happened to him.
Right, right. The night with the big guy, with the big dude, with the big old taxi looking dude, his partner, Tyler's partner, that he only accepted
He
$6,000 for.
didn't accept it. The guy, after the guy violated him, he just Apple paid him $6,000 and told him to be quiet. I think that the other problem is it's like you don't have money. You're kind of in fear now. This man works for the studio. He's the head of the studio where his thing is a little more loaded. He actually at the end, I believe, got a $500,000 settlement. Yeah.
From the studios, but not from the man. I mean, you wake up the next morning and you're in so much pain and violated, and you're still trying to figure out what's going on. I don't think 6,000, especially if he was a actor that was trying to make ends meet. $6,000 isn't enough to even cover my headache that I would be going through after being violated. Knowing especially what that man was worth. So $500,000 from the studio, okay, got it. But from the man himself, Tyler Perry's partner, I find it. I just couldn't believe $6,000 was all he accepted the morning after the violation. So it looks like the next lawsuit or court trial we're gonna be covering is Tyler Perry's. I think by this time next year, because there's gonna be more and more victims that are gonna come out, and these stories are just gonna get more salacious. And the difference with Tyler Perry's is there's so much evidence. There's text messages, there's communication between back and forth, not only with actors sharing their stories as well, but now you have lawyers who have said that, yeah, they've also represented clients as well that have been traumatized by working at Tyler Perry studio, whether it was from him or another one of his um, predator associates. So it's interesting. I think he has a really strong case and story to share.
Mm.
Diva, I have a
Hey
question.
everybody.
Okay,
Oh,
wait,
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Melanie. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. I heard y'all earlier. I just had to go to the washroom, so I was like, I'm not gonna come off mute.
Okay, go ahead. So, what did you want to
Yeah.
say? Mm-hmm.
Yes. So, I'm first of all, like, I know Tyler Perry since way back because if you're older, we was watching his plays when we were like just becoming adults, like some people in high school. So he's been around for like 25 years. So it's definitely something fishy with him. The reason why I stopped fooling with him is because At the beginning, I was young, so you just be watching anything. But then I started to think, like, how you been doing this for this long? Like, you constantly dress up like a woman, portraying a woman. Like, you're not a woman. And, like, you just be making up the weirdest plots about women. And it just seems like an obsession. It seems weird. Never seen him with a family. Um, Always try to say we're crazy if we think he could be DL or something like that. Pretending like he was in the church, and he's been weird from day one. He started to give me those weird vibes. He gave me those like when Michael Jackson started to get weird vibes. Like once they get too big, it seems like they all turn like Diddy like, because the Christian, what's his name? Christian Key, ain't that his name? Reeves.
Christian
Yeah,
Keith.
Reeves. Yeah, he said something, and he was really going around the bush. So something happened to him. We definitely know something's happening to these men. So I think they're doing stuff, and Diddy knows what's up. And then they all be rolling with Oprah, so that's fishy. Cause it's like she don't be saying nothing. Like, they know what's up, y'all. Like we're the only ones that don't know. To be honest, all them celebrities know what's going on. They don't want to get in trouble, but they've been doing weird stuff from day one. And Tyler Perry is 55, so he shouldn't be talking to no young people in that type of manner, anyways. So it's starting to get weird with him.
All right, thank you. Anybody else? I'm about to close out.
Yeah, Diva. I feel like Felicia. I think they play on these people's vulnerability because this guy, you can tell that he got something, mental issues or something going on. And I'm thinking that, like Wayne said, by him accepting that money, was they looking at him as a trick? You get what I'm saying? Because you accepted this money, and when these people took this case on, they looking like, okay, well, you took the money from him. Was that an agreement between you two? I mean, I'm not saying that's what's going on, but I was just wondering that, especially when Wayne brought up the part that he kept the money. He should have never kept the money. And maybe he was down on his luck, and I get it or whatsoever, but that's not making yourself look good by accepting that. But maybe it's just me. And like we said, like everybody was saying, we could see that he got some issues going on, and he was down on his luck and whatsoever, and um nobody deserved to get violated. And as we say, if you don't see somebody make that drink, if you ain't made it yourself, don't drink it. And I know he probably trusts the man because of that, but like I said, I think because they seen him, because he took that money, I think they was looking at him in a whole different light. But that's just my thoughts. That's all I got.
I think he was sent the money. Think it's a little bit different. And even if he took the money when it was sent to him, they got Diddy down in the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn for similar situations. So it's a crime. But listen, people, chat with me in the comments. Once this is over, I'll chat back when I get an opportunity. I have to say, and roll with Felicia on this, you got to be so careful and you got to say no. We have got to take back our power. We got to say no. We can't be so. I really don't see. I'm fortunate. I really don't need to see your mansion. I don't need to see your $250,000 painting. You can snap a picture next time you're at your house, and when you come back, show it to me on your phone. I don't need to see it in person. I don't need a Louis bag. I don't need a Gucci bag. I just need to do my job and get a fair paycheck for the job that I'm doing. I don't need to get all close with you. If you like my work, you like my work. If not, then I got to go act somewhere else. But what I need to implore people is with this social media, before somebody even ever hire you, if you want to make a way, you can. But how much work do you want to put in? We got to go to our island and everybody allegedly is getting it in on the island. That's my proof to you that I'm worth this role. I'll take a pass. But we're in a world where everything is over-sexualized. It just is. We're exposed to all of this sex 24/7, depending upon what channel you're looking on, streaming, what platform you're looking on. And now, even daytime TV. Some of the soap operas that my mother and my grandmother used to watch when I was growing up, now those are over the top. They used to barely show people kissing. They used to barely on regular channels show a whole lot before light, but before it was later in night. Now in daytime, you can see the most, and I'm talking about on some of these regular channels. It's too much. It's not enough. Respectfully, Diva, Tisa tells with her messy self, can no other bloggers touch you respectfully. Oh, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Listen, guys.
Steve, can I say something real quick?
Yes.
You know, a lot of these predators, what they do, they go for the low-hanging fruit. They go for the ones that they have a better chance of nobody believing, not going, not following through with it. You know, this ain't these people's first rodeo. They've been able to get by with give them a little money, shut them up, especially if they ain't had no money. Give them a little bit of money, give them a little part, and it satisfies them. But I think what they're doing, they're going for the low-hanging fruit, that the worst, that if they try to say anything, nobody will believe them. It's a shame.
It is a shame. But you know what, Wayne? I think they test everybody. Because you had that one reporter that said his nephew or cousin or whatever, he got the job with Diddy. And then he said the nephew, cousin, whoever, never went back, and he never told him really why he didn't go back and working for Diddy. They test everybody. And the way we know they test everybody, because Diddy came to the door, allegedly, according to most people, he came to the door naked for everybody, and some people said no and left, and some people stayed.
Yeah,
If you believe, what is that actor name that he came over, played the piano for Diddy, and Diddy just kept staring at him. Diddy acted like he wanted him to teach him how to act, but he just kept staring at him. They test everybody.
Terrence Howard.
And then unfortunately some people, they fall prey. And my heart breaks for them. Greg, go ahead. You can say the thing and I'm about to close out.
I was just gonna say, first of all, thank you again for the platform. I really appreciate it. Throughout the Diddy trial, I did reference your YouTube page for information. So this is my first time calling in. I appreciate it. The $6,000, to me, that looks really innocent. $6,000 is not that much money. And it just looks like either straight up pay for sex, or hey, maybe he asked him $6,000, he gave him $6,000. I don't think that's an indictment. But the man says, well, I kept in touch with him. I stayed friendly with him. I think a lot of women have been subject to sexual misconduct. And I can say for myself, I would not return to an abuser in any kind of way.
$6,000 a lot of money when you're homeless.
Yeah, and you house hopping. It's a lot. Yeah, listen, guys, it's rough. I think this is the beginning. This is the tip of the iceberg, so to speak. But I appreciate y'all. Y'all know the routine. Hit that like button. If you didn't hit it on the way in, hit it on the way out. Good night and goodbye, everybody.